So let's take a look at the assembly center plane relationship. And the center plane relationship is used to center a part between two selected elements in an assembly. And to start, we're going to open a new assembly and drag the parts in from Class Files Assembly Engine Square folder. So we'll start by going to a new assembly, coming over to our parts library. Again, this is in our Class Files Assembly Engine Square. And again, the first thing we want to bring in is the block, the engine block. That's what's grounded. And we come back to our parts library again and bring in the crankshaft. That'll be the next big thing. So we drag that in. Take the axis here to the axis here, and I'll mate this end face with this face. Back to our parts library. We'd like to get the connecting rod. So drag in the connecting rod. We'd like that to center the axis here to the axis here. Just waiting for more information, but I'm going to stop there. I'm not going to use a mate and align, so I'll hit escape. It's not green anymore. I'll come up to home, and then I need to come over here to center plane under assemble. And I'm going to change this from single to double. So once that's on double, it's asking me, click on a plane of face. So I'm going to click on this plane of face, and I said double, so I'm going to do both sides. So this side and that side. Then I'm going to come up to the crank and say this side and this side. So there it is. So if I look at that from the top view and zoom way in, but then come over to inspect, measure minimum distance. I'm going to measure the distance from this line to this line. The minimum distance is 0.25 millimeters. Let's just select that again, minimum distance, and check the other side. Again, minimum distance, 0.25 millimeters. So it's centered the crank. Now I could come back to parts library and drag in the piston. But something I've learned from experience, before I do that, it'd be a good idea to rotate this piece, the connecting rod, into a better position. Because you want to get things closer before you connect them sometimes. And so I'm going to go and drag component. I'll just take the defaults and grab that, and I'd like to rotate it around this axis. And so I'm going to bring that around so it's almost right down the barrel of that piston. So now when I put the piston in there, it's going to connect properly instead of something flipping around. So I'll come over to parts library, grab the piston, and I'll grab the outside face and put it in this cylinder. I'm having trouble identifying it here, so I'm going to come over to the piston and I'm going to drag that out. And on this one I just want to move, so I'll come back to move along this axis. So now I can sort of see what's happening. I'll hit escape and then think of what's the last thing I want to do. If I come over here and look at this, I'd like to come back to axial align this with this cylinder in here. So hesitate, because I'm looking through some things, and there's the axis I want. Now you could go ahead and connect the last 3 cylinders also. And so then you could come over and add a motor rotational motor, and it would be on the crankshaft. I'll just take that direction, accept the direction, finish, come over to simulate motor, hit OK, and play. So go ahead and assemble this completely, and you could create a movie that we showed you how to do earlier.